That is where hope begins. When we think that nothing can ever happen or be different, we go into hopelessness. He says, I have a hope for you. And it's found and rooted in that relationship we talked about before, remember? It's rooted in the fact that when you pray, when you call on my name, I will hear you. And when you seek me, you will find me. And you seek me with all your heart. This is why the whole idea of eternity written on our heart is important. Because the same book Jeremiah says, God says, if you seek me with all your heart, you will find me. But Jeremiah 17:9 says, the heart is deceptive above all things. And you're like, well, how does that work out? That's a little schizophrenic. I'm seeking you with all my heart, but my heart is deceptive above all things. How does that work out? It continues on, Jeremiah 17:9. The heart is deceptive above all things, and I, the Lord, search it and give to each man according to his ways. So I was reading that, I thought, so when eternity is written on my heart, and I'm really after the heart of God and his eternal purposes, when you search my heart for the things I'm really looking for, it's really eternity that you see. And so we can walk together in tandem. However, if my heart is not after those things, and it's after other stuff, but I'm saying, God, I'm seeking you, but really what I really want is a husband. God, I'm really seeking you, but $50 would be really nice. God, I'm so seeking you, but it's really the job I need. God, I want you, but I need promotion in my life. He searches our heart, and he knows really what's motivating us. He knows what's really the longing of our heart. Not that asking him for those things are wrong. You're hearing the difference. Those things are good. But back to Matthew chapter 6, 33. Seek ye what? First, the kingdom of God and his righteousness. And then all these things. So oftentimes we say, oh God, if you will just, then I will. Right? God, if you would just take care of this, I promise I'll serve you all the days of my life. And I think he would ask us, will you serve me all the days of my life, your life? And then see if that happens. The Lord and I came to a crux of opinions years ago. Don't you love it? Let me just make this clear to you. If you and God are opposing in opinions, he wins. That's it. I mean, I'm just put you at ease. If you had that question, who wins? God. That's it. All right. And that was for free. When I was young, I grew up, I was sharing the story with somebody, I grew up singing in the church, singing in general. My sister's a musician, my father's a musician, my brother's a musician, my mother's an intercessor. I can say that because she's here. She prayed us into musicianship. No. We all sang and were musical, and that's just what we did. And so growing up, I sang all my life. And I'm going to hope I remember why I'm telling you this story. Because you're all of a sudden like, why am I oh, okay. So grew up singing in the church, you know how it goes. And so when I was 19 years old, I traveled a singing group for a few months. And fantastic. Best time of my life. Loved it. Sang every day for hours a day. It was brilliant, wonderful, 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 wonderful. What I didn't know what I was doing, that over those 3 months, I was absolutely shredding my vocal cords. By the end of those 3 months, I went from a soprano to like a bass. I remember I called my mom towards the end of the trip just to say how it was going. She didn't recognize my voice on the phone. And moms, you know you recognize your kids' voices, right? And she's like, I don't even recognize what you sound like. What was wrong with me? I mean, it was awful. But I'm thinking, I just need rest. No big deal. I get back home. I'm trying, I'm done traveling. I come back home. I try to sing. It hurts. Every time I talk, I'm hoarse. It's in pain, and so I go to the doctor, and I'm thinking, if I could just get a little medicine, right? A little medicine, that'll take care of it, a little medicine. And the doctor's like, there's really no medicine for this. You've bruised your vocal cords, and they're actually hemorrhaging. And I don't know what your voice will do. Literally, he said, there's no guarantee that you'll get your voice back. You don't have nodules, so there's no surgery that can fix it. It's only vocal rest. How many women know you cannot have vocal rest? Okay. Men, you too. My husband outtalks me 2-to-1. I promise you he does. And I thought, really? I'm 19. That's pretty young. And I'm thinking, it was just 5 years ago. You had to be here earlier if you weren't, and you're laughing. He says, I really don't know. You might get your voice back, you might not get your voice back. And I thought, wow. And that's a pretty big deal, especially at 19. And I'm like, I'm going to sing. This is kind of where I wanted to go with life anyway. So I go home, and for the next 6 months, me and the Lord had some opinion wrestling to do. And I was like, you gave me the voice, right? You start telling him what he did. You gave it to me. It's yours anyways. And he's like, I'm going to let you pitch your fit, and then we'll talk about it. And so I'm telling him, but I'm only doing it for you, and it's all about you, and he's like, we did this for about 6 months, and I would surrender it, but it really wasn't, because really what I wanted was to be able to sing in front of people. And I just wanted my voice. It's the thing that I did. It was my identity, because I hadn't learned what it meant to be a daughter yet. I just knew that I was a singer, and if I could sing, then he would like me, and people would like me. And it took about 6 months, and I remember, and I don't know, I can't tell you what the shift was. What I do think, and I encourage you, is that you never quit, because there will be a shift. When you're wrestling with the Lord over something, can I encourage you, don't quit, because there will be a shift in your heart. And I remember one day in my room, I had a room in the basement, I was banished. Just kidding. You can't sing, go to the basement. It's like a Disney movie. I was down in the basement of my bedroom. And I was like, Lord, really, I don't know what to do this. This was like such a part of who I was. And something happened, and I remember just weeping. And I said, God, and I said it, instead of saying, God, I want my voice, I said, if I never get my voice, I want you. And I meant it for the first time in all that arguing that I had with him. And I said, if I never get it back, I just want you. And peace came to me like, it was done. I was done. There was no more arguing. Because the Lord said, that's all I want. Is I want you to seek me with all your heart. And when you seek me with all your heart, not with an end result in mind, you will find me. And in that moment, I found him. And for 3 years, I didn't sing a note. I couldn't. But you know what? For 3 years, I didn't care. Because I found him. Over those next 3 years, I got to know God in a way that I hadn't before, because it was no longer about the gift. It was no longer about what I did for him. It was no longer about how can you use me, God. It was simply about, I am yours, you are mine, you like me. Get out of here, even if I don't sing a note. And I just didn't care. And it was in that time that I began to learn the principle. When you call my name, I will hear you. And when you seek me with all your heart, because my heart had become deceptive. I was saying, God, I want this voice for you, but really I wanted it because it so identified who I was. And without it, I was like, I don't know who I am. What will I be? And when I realized that all I really needed to be was a daughter and his, then it was okay. And for 3 years I didn't sing, and it was okay. Until one day I remember in Virginia, I'm sitting in church in service out in the pews, and I'm singing along, and it just dawned on me. I'm like, I'm singing. Hey. And it didn't hurt. And it didn't hurt. And it didn't hurt. So I thought, well, let's just see. I auditioned, the worship team, you had to go through a thingy, and I gotten on the worship team. Long story short, within 8 months I was leading worship, and for the next 9 years I led worship anywhere from 1 to 4 times in one service. And I never lost my voice again. The Lord fully restored it.
Praise God. Thank you, Jesus.
But first, I had to seek his kingdom. That's what it means. Will you seek me with all your heart? It's not an exchange. I want your heart for this, God. I just want you. I just want you. I just want you. And when it's all about Him, hope begins to be reborn in your heart. Because He never fails. He never lets go. He is the answer. He begins to be the one who empowers you. He begins to be the one who says, okay, now we've got a plan. And then we begin to follow Him. And that's why He says, I have a hope for you. Because you have a say-so if you will seek me with all your heart. Today He's asking for our hearts, daughters. He's asking for all of our hearts. All of our hearts. Does He want to give us our families? Yes. Does He want our prodigals to come home? Yes. Does He want us to be healed? Absolutely, unconditionally. Yes. Does He want us whole from the inside out? Yes. But does He want our hearts above all things so that eternally we are His and He is ours? Absolutely, yes. And that is where our hope comes from. Is being completely found in Him and knowing we have a say-so because we have sought Him with all of our heart. And then when we call on Him, He hears and says, I know exactly what you need. Don't you worry about a thing. And hope is restored.